Please know we welcome you, whoever you are. And please join us in singing our welcome song. We sing it through twice, and if you feel comfortable doing so, greet those around you with a smile, a nod, or a hello. The words are in your order of service and on the screen.
Welcome, love, we welcome you.
To the leadership meeting, Saturday, this coming Saturday, the 28th. It will be at 1 p.m., 1 to 4 is the time frame. Any leaders of committees and board members should attend. I will even say must. Anyone else, any other members are certainly more than welcome. There will be no
There's a new UU hymnal coming out, and it's a virtual hymnal. It's going to be an app, and it's coming out in January, but different UU churches of different sizes were asked to beta test the hymnal, the virtual hymnal, and we were chosen. So I'm going to be sending out an email, and it's going to be in our weekly update. If you would be willing to get the app, I need people in the congregation and people who sing up front to do it, because I'm going to have to give some feedback on the usability. It comes with no instructions. They want to see if it's user friendly, so we've been lucky enough to be beta testers. So. Harvest the power, our separate fires will kindle one flame. Witness the mystery of this hour. Trials in light appear all the same. Gather in peace, gather in thanks. Gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion, and strength. Gather to celebrate once again. And the last verse. Gather the Spirit, growing in all, drawn by the moon and fed by the sun. Winter to spring and summer to fall, the chorus of life resounding as one. Gather in peace, gather in strength, gather in sympathy once again. Gather in hope, compassion, and strength. Gather to celebrate once again. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Marian. Happy birthday to you.
Our relationships and the values that ground
we unite and work towards a world where we all thrive. Together we take action, side with love, and make deep impacts in this critical moment. So this is something the greater UUA is doing on the side of social justice. To tie it back in here. Ready when you are. in worship, whether in person or virtually, to connect with the greater good, to do good and to be better. Part of that is sharing our joys, our celebrations, our sorrows, our concerns, our peace, our help, and our needs. A special week this week is SOAR's Save a Life Day on Thursday. Again, as we've mentioned before, every state east of the Mississippi, plus 4, will be joining together to distribute life-saving naloxone on that Thursday. And Sarah just got back from Healing Appalachia, which has been a 3-day music festival up at Lewisburg at the fairgrounds. And she writes, SOAR's Healing Appalachia team, with leadership from Mary Tierney, was able to attend a 3-day music festival focused on the effect opioids have had in Appalachia. While there, they trained and distributed nearly 20,000 naloxone kits. That's amazing. 3 days. And Joy, personally, I have been formally accepted into the Commissioned Lay Minister program. Thank you. The application process was long and involved. I began it in February, and just Monday, I finally got through. Now begins the real work. Also, no, I mentioned that one. Now, Tammy's, because she again didn't sign it, granddaughter got first place in cheerleading again this week. That did last week also. Yay to Chris Higgins for running in a marathon today in Illinois, said Mike Zayan. Maria got into Sober Living House. That's amazing. And also, to show I'm not always just the face up here, thanks to Paul for putting my locks on my house doors a few weeks ago. Awesome automatic locks. This is from Mike. And unfortunately, Tammy's husband is down in his back. We hope for recovery. Please join me in reading our unison affirmation. The words are in your order of service. Love is the spirit of our faith, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. We know that our financial contributions to this congregation come from sacrifice and hard work. We are so grateful for this and commit together to ensure the funds we gather collectively do a greater good for ourselves and our world than they could have done alone. May your donations sustain and grow the life and mission of this congregation. May we give in love and in hope.
If every woman in the world had her mind set on freedom, if every woman in the world dreamed a sweet dream of peace, if every woman of every nation, young and old, each generation, held her hands up in the name of love, there would be no more war. If every nation in the world set a true course for freedom, if every nation raised its children in a culture of peace, if all our sons and all our daughters reached in friendship across the waters, refusing to be enemies, there would be no more war.
Put your feet down because we're about to do an embodiment. Close your eyes. Breathe in and out. When you hear the word liberation, liberatory spirit, liberatory life, liberatory possibilities, what does that conjure in your soul? When you hear, we are the liberating force, spirit, light, and love, what does that conjure in your spirit? When you hear that we have the power to transform the world around us, what does that mean in your bones? When you hear, we are the people that we have been waiting for, we are. How does that feel in your blood? We are the light, we are the wisdom, we are the ancestors, we are those yet to come. How do we fully hold all of that in ourselves? Open your eyes, look at the people around you, and go out and organize. Now, first, I'd like to welcome our birthday girl, our former board president, membership committee chair, and founding member of the Stone Action Group, Marion Keyes, up to the pulpit. Marion has compiled a history of social justice actions this congregation has either initiated or been a part of over the years. Marion? Yep, it's there. Good. Oh, don't trip on the pen. Yep, here. There you go. Nope, no more. Sorry.
Close enough. I wish I had a big voice, but it's not so big. To say I've compiled a history, I know when I tell you what we've done, I'll have forgotten something or have not ever learned of something that this congregation has done because it's had such a rich history of social action individually and as a group. I was drawn to the UUC 16 years ago for its principles and for the people who put them in action. Over the years, the UUC members and friends have individually and together acted, written, spoken, planned, and protested to increase justice in our neighborhood and beyond. We've worked for peace during war, for civil rights, for the environment, for teaching truth in education. We've worked to enrich the experience or ease the tribulations of others, raising funds for communities suffering from flood damage, collecting food for Covenant House, providing classes for imprisoned people. We've brought attention to local artists through our River Arts Show, designed and volunteered in summer enrichment and after-school programs. We've helped protect women seeking abortions at women's health centers when they existed. We provided space for alcohol and substance abuse programs and helped support programs for unhoused people. We've marched in pride parades and spoken in support for justice for our LGBTQIA+ folks, and have stood with our West Side neighbors as they sought relief from past and recent injustices. These were all before there was a social action group, and I have doubtless forgotten, overlooked, or haven't learned of others. So I think that's why a lot of us are here, because we wanted to be with other people for whom social justice mattered. And that's saying even when there are people here who come here, I'm sure, as I did at times, for respite, for being with congenial people, but who not when I did not have and others did not have the reserves, the time, the energy to be active. So one way to be active, to support social justice action when you don't have the resources, is to contribute financially so that we can continue to do this. And I'm putting on a stewardship hat as I say that, but just remember, money helps too.
Today our message is Spark of Hope. So a little over a year ago, we, you, and the members of our congregation expressed an interest in forming a social action group, as Marion was referring to. So in September of 2023, a group of interested people gathered for our first meeting. So we're like 1 year in. And one of our first orders of business was to decide on a name that would be meaningful to us and carry us forward as we do social action work. So we decided, and it was very fitting to honor our dear friend and activist, Catherine Stone, and so was born the Stone Action Group. We also needed to decide on our purpose and objectives as we move forward so we could be, I don't want to say targeted, but just kind of have a focus going forward. So we decided on our purpose to act in ways consistent with UU principles to provide support for and increase justice here in our neighborhood, which has a lot of meanings to people and beyond. And that purpose also aligns with our 8 principles. So our objectives, getting down to more of a granular level, because that's where action happens. It's great to talk about big, lofty ideas, but, groundwork's important. So we decided that our 3 objectives would be to communicate, coordinate, and choose social action. So that's kind of the framework of how I'm going to share with you what we've done over the last year, and then each of us will get up and share our social action passions, and then we'd like you to share as well. So whatever that might be for you. So for communication, was one of them, is getting some identity here within our congregation by wearing our t-shirts. So the board graciously agreed to sponsor. That's why we offer the t-shirts at such a low cost, and we're actually almost ready to do a reorder since they have been popular. Communication within the UUC and community to coordinate. There are so many groups here on the West Side in Charleston that we can be a part of, even though we may not have the capacity to do the whole thing. we can certainly coordinate with other groups, and then choose social action to build UUC team involvement and exemplify our principles. So for communications, I don't know who thought of this, but we do the social action group Google alerts. And Catherine, I'm looking at you because I haven't done yours yet that you suggested, and I'm going to do it this afternoon to send it out about participating in our democratic process with dates of early voting and such. So communicating with the Google action groups. As I mentioned, the T-shirts. We did conduct about 6 months into our group activities. We conducted a service where we shared, Annette designed some bookmarks, which we shared with you. Sam has been instrumental in sharing upcoming legislative issues, and many of those he puts in the social action Google group. He prepared a legislative sheet with issues and contacts and how you can move forward on any of those issues if you're interested. Let's see. And we also met with West Side community leaders, some of us individually, to find out, again, more granularly what some of the issues are in the neighborhood. We've also coordinated, which is our second big objective for the year. We regularly participate in the West Side collaborative meetings, and this is a group of like 50 or 60 people that meet every quarter and share what their various groups are going on, and we are actually going to host the March 2025 meeting here in this space. So we're real excited about that. Hope all the technology works. We regularly volunteer at the SOAR monthly mutual aid meeting. We regularly attend the Tuesday morning group for racial equity, and we also have supported from the get-go the Kaleidoscope group and the SOAR group. And then as Paul mentioned, or Marion mentioned, we had over 30 people walking in the Gay Pride Parade this year, which was fabulous. So that was the coordination part. Some of the specific social action measures you're going to hear more deeply about in a few minutes. Let me see if there's any. The harm reduction SOAR, working on racism, the legislative issues, the Kaleidoscope Trans Coalition. We also participated in the Hygiene for Humanity collection project. With West Side Youth, we've assisted with several community fairs and doing some after-school volunteering. We developed some questions for people to ask candidates at a candidate forum at Mary C. Snow, which became part of the program. And one of our members has recently become a CASA volunteer, which works with youth to support them through court processes that they're going through. And let's see. Okay, so now I think Paul's going to come up and talk more deeply about his passions related to harm reduction.
Not incredibly deeply, but a little bit. There are several reasons I became involved with SOAR. Peer pressure was one. Many of my friends were a part of it. Also, as with so many of us here in this state, I have friends in recovery, and I have lost family to the drug epidemic. I've assisted SOAR as much as I can. I will acknowledge Sarah Stone has done much, much more to coordinate UUC with that group. My involvement has mostly consisted of speaking about it from up here and volunteering at their monthly mutual aid meeting. This year, I also installed and helped maintain stock on a naloxone vending machine. It's like the one that's right out here, but it's at the Living AIDS Memorial Garden on the East End. That box, by the way, is a real mover. We have distributed well over 100 boxes of the life-saving drug each month since May, as well as numerous boxes of Plan B and drug testing strips. So, Marion, tag. You?
I'd like to add something to what Paul just said. In fact, the board passed a resolution approving the SOAR sponsorship originally at a time when SOAR was was trying to have the monthly aid meetings and were being harassed and driven out of spaces because people were not in favor of the word drug addiction. And so we had the parking lot made available and passed a resolution saying that we sponsored and supported SOAR. And I think this board has recently reinstituted or reapproved SOAR. I have been attending the Tuesday morning group for a number of years. In fact, I started attending it when our emeritus minister Mel Hoover was here. And at the time, it was next door. It's at the Grace Bible Church. Pastor Watts, I think, created it and has been led it. And its main goal has been to improve the condition of poor people and minorities, but specifically black people who live in the West Side, because the history of that is the reason the West Side is the most populous, has the most percentage of African American population in the state is because people who once lived downtown were basically moved into the West Side to make room for other things, and when I think the highways were built. It met and meets every Tuesday morning, and originally it was at 8 o'clock, which was really hard, and now it meets at 9 o'clock. The key people are African American community leaders, many of whom are also pastors or members of the churches whose pastors are part of it. Their purpose has been to advocate for African American people's needs, particularly those on the West Side. Since COVID, that meeting has gone online and is a Zoom meeting, and it is no longer open to whoever wants to drop by, because there has been, I think, some painful experiences with people who choose to drop by for not good reasons. This group originally, when I attended, was focused on the West Side Development Plan, which was designed with input from community members. And it was passed, accepted, and then ignored. So that plan was, I think, around 20 years ago. When I became involved, there were also another plan. This is one of the games that gets played with people who don't have the power to stop it. you're doing a lot of administrative consulting and community input because, of course, you can listen all you want to, you just don't have to do anything about it. So the second plan was passed and again has been ignored for the most part, well, fully ignored. And the group has given up on making that plan happen. The Charleston Urban Redevelopment Association was the one that was supposed to be make that happen. And that is a city, an arm of the city, I want to say commission, that's not the right word. Other issues are how many more black students are how many more black students are forced out of school by being repeatedly suspended and then ending up in the criminal justice system. The health problems of African Americans that are far greater than those of other populations, and I'm convinced that's because of constantly having to swallow anger over feeling helpless to make things happen, and trying to get funded legislation to benefit minority and low-income people that was enacted in past years. And this is another game. Legislation gets passed, but then is never funded, so that you feel like, something has happened, but nothing has happened. That is the focus now because there's still money available through the American Rescue Plan to try to pressure the legislature to fund legislation that is on the books but has never been funded. I have to say I'm in awe of African American community leaders who, against all odds, never give up working for the betterment of African American and low-income people. And they've recognized that because the state's population is 4%, less than 5%, 4 point something percent minority, that alone they cannot accomplish anything. And they sure do need us to advocate along with them. And most of the state is poor, so anything that benefits poor people will benefit African American people. And let's see.
For me, my social action work, it revolves around children, and when they're for various reasons, and I don't even know the reasons, are unable to realize their full spark of hope within them as a human being. So what I like to think about this in spending time with them to find out what's on their minds, just to get them to think a little bit, and whether it be helping them with their homework or doing fun things with our fingers because they were bad the other day and can't talk, but we can do this without talking. I'm getting emotional because I've started doing this work fairly recently, and it's so important for me to work with kids just to find out what's on their mind and let them talk to me. And community leaders have said, we just need somebody to listen to children and be a caring adult. And I'm not an authority, I'm not a parent, I just talk to them. And they talk back, we have a conversation and we have fun together. So that's what's important to me. May not be a big paradigm shift, but I want to help these kids grow strong roots so that they can fully realize themselves. Sorry. So anyways, that's what gives me a spark of hope.
Jamie's going to share with us.
I'm speaking on behalf of the Kaleidoscope Collective. That was a group that began last year. And it is a group of LGBTQIA people, and I'm going to educate you some on that. We prefer to be called queer now. I didn't know this, but the younger people have let me know. Just call us all queer. It encompasses all that, and you don't have to say all those letters. So when I say queer, we've reclaimed that word. It may mean odd, but we're all individual people, and that's how they feel about it. My personal advocacy before this, and this is why that I support the Kaleidoscope Collective and the younger people. I'm 52 now, and we have 20-somethings and 30-somethings, and I began in my 20s. I remember lying to my parents and saying that I was going to Washington, D.C. to see the cherry blossoms. But actually, it was with a contingency of people. Right here in Charleston, two men, Andy and David, who were partners, started West Virginia Gay Pride. And they managed to get about 200 people from the state to go march on Washington under President Clinton. And I went there with them as part of that contingency. And it was very moving. That was when Clinton had used the queer community as, he did the Defense of Marriage Act, and that was his way to get other things done in the government, and he used us as that pawn to do that. But going back through the years, in the 50s there was the Lavender Scare, where 10,000 people, gay people, queer people from the government were fired, and they would have suicides every day, and no one cared. And then, in the 60s, there was a Stonewall riot in New York because the NYPD was harassing and brutalizing gay people. Then in the 70s, Harvey Milk was assassinated in a parade in San Francisco because he was their first openly gay elected official. He was on the Board of Supervisors. In the 80s, and that's when I was a teenager, we had a president who wouldn't say the word AIDS, and thousands of people died. The government gave no funding for that. And I remember being a teenager and being a stupid teenager and having unprotected sex and living down in Logan County in the city of Man. There was no place for me to be tested, so I had to sit and wonder, oh my God, do I have AIDS? I'm 16 years old, do I have AIDS? Am I gonna die? There was no place to be tested. There was nothing. So, then we go to the 90s and we get marriage equality finally. And I'm just saying I'm here to support the younger folks because now we have some more gay rights, but it's it's our trans friends who are under attack now. They're the ones that suddenly it's it's fashionable. And unfortunately, even within the gay community, the trans folks are not fully accepted. Men of my age fought to just be gay, and lesbians of my age. And I look back and I can say that there were so many people who were trans, but they couldn't be trans because that wasn't heard of then. You were male or female, that was it. But I look back and there are so many people who could have lived their true lives and their true selves because they were trans, but we were just fighting to be who we are then. And right now, we here at UU are providing a very safe trans place for people to come. Even churches where they say they're gay friendly, if trans folks show up and we have to say that a trans woman looks like a man or a trans man looks like a woman and they show up in the clothing they feel comfortable in, they are still ostracized in those churches. So we are now providing a safe place for them to come. They can come and feel comfortable here. They can be their true selves. And that's really what Kaleidoscope Collective is doing now and working. We're still working toward all queer rights, but particularly trans rights right now, because the trans people are being particularly trampled upon right now, and it's okay. It's okay. Many people feel it's okay to do that, and we're fighting for that right. So, UUC has always been one of those places where gay people could come, and now trans people from everyone in the queer community can come, and we're trying to educate people and make them see that everyone deserves to be treated equally. I mean, our Gay Pride Parade, I was so impressed because, and it's because of our trans allyship, that many of the people who came and marched in that parade were trans folks. So I just think we need to continue to support that, and I know I definitely will. But that's all.
Okay, I know it's almost 12, but I will say that, I think all of these issues are very important to me, and I know all of us are different in a way. We walk our own path, and some things speak to each of us differently or maybe more strongly than others. I really like the mutual aid that they have every month. I've been touched, and I'm sure everybody's been touched by substance abuse, mental health. I think it's tied in together. And I think everyone deserves a right to love who you love, to be who you are, and to do what you want as long as you're not hurting other people. And all of those speak strongly to me. But we want to hear from other people. So, give it over to Paul.
Are we working? There we go. All right. And the question was, I of course can't remember, what social justice issues that need to be addressed, which one speaks to you the most strongly of all of them? Do I have any hands? I knew.
Hi, I'm Kathy Jewell. I think that it is my strong opinion that we need to be part of the democratic process that's with a small d, and that we need to be working with groups that are going to get out the vote, who are trying to pass accurate information. I think the presidential vote this year is particularly critical, and I would like to see us, if nothing else, at least have a website or somewhere where people could go to find out where are there volunteer opportunities for people who feel that way.
Anyone else? Yes, good. Yeah, I'll hold it. But you can
Okay.
speak.
Hi, Paul. My husband, Bill Cresser, just walked out to take a phone call, but we're longtime members here. Bill and I moved to Colorado 4 years ago. And first of all, I'm so glad we're here today. I am so impressed with the Stone Action Group, because social action is very dear to my heart. In Colorado, Bill and I are part of a group called Together Colorado, which makes human dignity its prime thing. It's an interfaith group of like 200 congregations for affordable housing, which is a huge issue in Colorado. Economic justice, justice in terms of police issues, and we've done work to change legislative issues. I'm going to piggyback off of what Kathy said because I'm personally helping to get out postcards to people in Georgia, Florida right now, and other states. And the groups I'm working with, we've sent out over 2,000 postcards. It's possible to do that. It's with the Center for Common Cause, and UUC is actually one of the groups that supports this. Anybody heard of it? It's postcarding with Reclaim Our Vote. If you have questions, I can help you. Thank you,
Great,
Paul.
thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, okay, can you stand?
Yes.
Sometimes when we talk about what we're doing as in the realm of social action, we try to enumerate all the things that we are doing as a congregation, but often just waving the flag of social action, just waving it in front of everyone, causes ripples in the community. And I'll be one ripple. When I come here, I see the flag and it's waved and I'm reminded. And then when I go to my Kiwanis Club meetings every week, and frequently there's a social action event or issue that comes up, and I've got the old UU flag in the back of my mind, and it inspires me to stand on the side of love, stand on the side of action. And for example, my Kiwanis Club, made up of mainly Republicans, mainly business people, every year we get the principals of the west side, the elementary school principals, to give us the names of 50 children who desperately need clothing. These are kids that come in flip-flops in 3 inches of snow. They come to school in flip-flops and no socks. They come while the snow is coming down and they've got a t-shirt on. Things like that. And we take those 50 neediest kids probably in the city every year, and we take them out and we buy $250 worth of clothing, not just cheap clothing. We get them brand names. So on Friday, when they're in school, they are you might say they're the dregs of that society, that little classroom society. They're looked down upon by many of the other kids. They come back on Monday and they're wearing brand name clothes, and they feel great, and it causes those kids to improve in their schoolwork. It causes them to change in many, many different ways. But all of that comes from me occasionally coming here and having the flag waved. And just the other day, we had a little crisis in our Kiwanis Club. After 25 years of buying children clothing, we had a woman, an ex-police woman, that's all the identity that I'll let out, but she said, you know, I think we spend too much money on these kids. And I think that in this time of inflation, that we need to reassess and we need to drop it down to $200 instead of $250 for each kid. And I said, right away, I just stood up and I said, inflation is an argument for us to increase our gift, not decrease it. And in fact, if we drop it from $250 to $200, I've been a Kiwanian for 40 years here. I resign. Whoa, did that wake up everyone? And they immediately, someone stood up and made a motion that we keep it at $250, and they didn't even vote. Everyone just applauded. A crisis avoided. Okay, but it's all because of the UU flag that I occasionally have waved in front of me. So we do more than just what we can enumerate on a sheet of paper.
Thank you. Anyone else? No? You're welcome to sit down again. He's back. All righty. Invite you all to, yes, okay, yes.
Sorry. I forgot to make an announcement that we did create a Stone Action Group Facebook for people to share anything going on or anything needed. And it's Stone Action Group on Facebook. That's all.
Just skip it? Gotcha. Okay. Our eyes and minds turn now toward the ordinary. Leaving this space made sacred by our presence, take with you at least some seed of understanding, hope, and courage, and drop it into the confusion of the world. Nourish the seed that it might grow as a tree of life, giving shelter to the weary and hope to the despairing. Be yourself a branch of the tree of life. So be it.
So we're not going to do the Go Now in Peace. I'm just going to play a postlude and you can leave. We're way over, but it was a wonderful, wonderful service.
Great.
And I'm going to tell you one little thing about Catherine Stone. We had gotten a new piano many years ago in like 2005, and Catherine came up, as she often did, and was talking to me, and she loved music, and we talked about music. And we were talking about cleaning the piano, and Catherine said, we were talking about how we needed something very soft to clean it, and Catherine raised her eyebrows and said, I can bring in some of my used lingerie. We can clean it with that. Because if you knew Catherine, you knew that when she was being funny, she would raise her eyebrows and say that, and I remember that so much about her. Anyway.